Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really big and honestly often invisible issue right at the heart of modern medicine: the hidden gaps in women's health.
Let's just start with this one single number: 25%. Think about that. According to recent research, women spend a full 25% more of their lives in poor health than men do. That's a huge gap. So right away, you got to ask, what on earth is going on?
And look, this isn't just some abstract data point. It's a real, lived experience for millions. A major study in the UK found that a staggering 84% of women feel like they've been dismissed by their healthcare providers. That feeling isn't a one-off, you know? It's a symptom of a much, much bigger problem.
So this leads us to the big question, the one we're really digging into today. Why? I mean, how can modern medicine, with all its incredible futuristic breakthroughs, be failing half the population this badly? Well, the answer isn't as simple as just blaming individual doctors. What we're actually looking at is a deep systemic issue, a hidden health gap that's been built on a foundation of missing information.
And here we go. This is the absolute core of it. For decades, medicine has pretty much been built on a male blueprint. The clinical models, the research, the protocols, they were designed for men. And when you think about what that really means, well, the results are predictable, aren't they? It leads to misdiagnoses, treatments that are delayed, and ultimately worse outcomes for women.
But let's flip this around for a second. Let's look at it from the other side of the exam table. What's it like for physicians? They're expected to give top-notch, personalized care, but they're often working inside a system that just doesn't give them the tools or the data they need to do that for everyone.
And what's really interesting is that doctors know this. They are so aware of the problem. When you survey them, their biggest concerns paint a super clear picture. Look at this. The numbers are all pointing in the same direction. 53% say there's not enough research. 47% point to systemic biases. And another 53% say cultural stigma is a huge barrier. They see these gaps from the inside out.
And you can just feel the frustration here. Get this, over 80% of doctors say they see sex differences in their patients all the time, and how diseases progress, how treatments work. But fewer than 30% of them feel like they actually have what they need to address those differences. So they see the what, but they are completely missing the how.
Now, this problem isn't just in one little corner of medicine. Oh no. This systemic data gap causes a ripple effect, creating problems across pretty much every single specialty you can think of.
Okay, let's take cancer care. In one study, 90% of men getting radiation therapy were asked about their sexual health, as a key part of their quality of life. And for women getting similar treatment, only 10%. That is a massive difference in just basic, compassionate care.
And the research side is just as bad. An analysis of almost 90,000 oncology clinical trials found that only half of 1%, let me say that again, 0.5%, bothered to include detailed sex comparisons after treatment. We're just not collecting the data.
All right, let's jump over to cardiology. This is a classic and, frankly, dangerous example. We're all taught that the classic sign of a heart attack is that crushing chest pain, right? Well, that's the male model. For women, it's much more likely to show up as nausea, extreme fatigue, or shortness of breath. Symptoms that, you guessed it, get dismissed way too often. And that delay can be devastating.
It's the exact same story with stroke. Medical guidelines are only just now starting to catch up and recognize these unique, female-specific risk factors. Being in the postpartum period triples a woman's risk. Having preeclampsia quadruples it. Things like hormonal contraception, other issues during pregnancy, these are all huge contributors that have been overlooked for way too long.
So what about neurology? Migraines. They hit women 3 times more often than men. And that's not random. As you can see here, it's all about hormones. The attacks are often directly linked to a woman's life journey, to menstruation, pregnancy, perimenopause, and menopause. It's a lifetime of biological events that are totally central to the condition. And the pattern just keeps repeating everywhere you look. In endocrinology, 1 in 10 women has PCOS, yet an incredible 70% of them go undiagnosed. In ophthalmology, dry eye disease is twice as common in women. And in neurology again, women make up 2/3 of all Alzheimer's patients, and their decline is often faster. The gap is truly everywhere.
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. It's big. It's systemic. It's a little overwhelming. But the good news is,
there's actually a pretty clear blueprint for how we can start to fix this.
The whole strategy really comes down to three main pillars. First, you have to collect the right data and close those gaps. Second, you have to completely redefine what women's health even means. And third, you have to create real incentives for the entire system to change. So let's start with number one, the absolute foundation, collecting the data.
The second pillar is all about changing the definition. For way too long, women's health has been treated as, well, what some people call bikini medicine, focused only on reproductive parts. We have to blow that definition up and expand it to include every organ system, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the eyes. Women's health isn't some niche issue. It's half of all health.
And finally, number three, you have to make it worthwhile for the system to change. That means doing things like mandating training in sex and gender medicine for doctors, pushing for more collaboration between drug companies and researchers, actually rewarding innovation, and making it a non-negotiable priority to separate all health data by sex.
So what's really at stake here? I mean, closing this gap isn't just the right thing to do. It's also a massive economic and scientific opportunity. We're talking about what the McKinsey Global Institute has valued as a $1 trillion a year opportunity for the global economy.
And this quote just nails the ultimate takeaway. By finally studying the health of the 51% of the population that's been overlooked, we can unlock medical breakthroughs we haven't even dreamed of yet. This isn't just about fixing a deficit, it's about seizing an incredible opportunity to transform healthcare for absolutely everyone.
So, we're really past the point of asking why this matters. The evidence is just overwhelming. The question on the table right now is who? Who is going to step up? Who will rise to this challenge and lead this change?
The groundwork has been laid. The need from patients and from doctors is crystal clear. The time to act is now.